Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Game Sketch. Today, and only today, we are back with our second annual mega discussion. I guess this is like a thing now for when we can. We did the first one for Sonic Frontiers, and now the final piece of 2022 has come for Sonic, and that is Sonic Prime. We got the first 8 episodes, so I figured what better way to do the full crazy spoiler talk with everything than with the 2 other Sonic dudes. We got Mr. Chalmix over here.
Hey, what's
How
up?
you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm good, chilling, you know. End of the year holidays coming up. You can't
Right.
complain. And of course, we got Mr. Sam. Hello, Sam.
What up? How you guys doing?
How you
guys
living,
doing?
Sam? What's going on?
I'm doing good.
You good?
I'm good. I'm chilling. Speed Strats is done. Make sure you watch episode 3.
Of course. Homing Dash official. Let's go. Now they have to. Now what I need is levels centered around that. That's what they have to do. Oh my god.
That'd be sick.
That would be fine. That would be.
We need
sick.
some hard mode DLC or something.
Yes, yes. I mean, hopefully those, because like the DLC says like new cyberspace challenges, and I'm like, I still don't know if it's new levels or if it's like new things to do in it. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Sonic Frontiers. We're here to talk about Sonic Prime. So yeah, we got the first 8 episodes on Netflix. I want to say, by the way, this is a full spoiler discussion. There's no warning. There's no nothing. Like, if you are watching this, I'm expecting that you've seen the 8 episodes. So whenever we talk about any topic, we're allowed to talk about episode 1 through 8. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of a big deal. You know, it's Netflix, you know, big platform. The show's charting really well on a lot of it. So I figured, you know, let's get into it. Let's start just talking about everything. So let's go first. So we're gonna segment this. Or there's different topics. We'll do general thoughts. We'll talk about how Sonic himself is betrayed, the gang. We'll talk about the plot itself and what we think is next. But let's start general thoughts. Sam, general thoughts, like just from the top. What did you think about Sonic? How did you feel going into it and all that stuff? You know.
So we'll start with going in. Going into it, we heard that it was being made by Wild Brain. I looked back at what they did, and they worked on Mega Man. I think it's called Recharged or Charged or whatever.
Yeah.
So I looked into that show.
That's what scared me, to be honest.
Didn't like the look of that show at all.
No.
The people working on the show mentioned it's gonna be like Generator Rex. So they said, you know, look into that. So I was going into it very cautious. I wasn't expecting too much. Then we saw the previews. It looks great, but I was still cautious because, you know, one of the big things that we kept seeing online is that Wild Brain kept on hiring.
Right.
So I was worried that there's crunch. It's not gonna look finished. So I went into it with low expectations, not really low expectations, but my expectations in check. But I was pleasantly surprised. I liked the show. It was fantastic, and we'll definitely go into why. But yeah, I really like the show. It's really good, solid.
Okay, good. What about you, Chow? How'd you feel going into it and coming out of it?
Yeah, I felt kind of similar where looking into it when it was first announced with like the studio making it, I was a little bit iffy. But I was so focused on Sonic Frontiers coming out, like I'm like, okay, it'll come out, like whatever, I'll watch it. And especially after Sonic Frontiers came out, I'm like, man, that story was so amazing. Like they got all the characters pretty good. Like I don't know, I'm not sure if like I'm even excited for Sonic Prime because it seems kind of like I was afraid that it was going to be kind of meta era level in terms of its story and characterization. I'm like, after Frontiers, like I can't do this again.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess I'll watch it. So I watched it and I was pleasantly surprised with like how well it turned out and how much I liked it. I think all the characters were done pretty good. I like the voice acting. I think the story was okay. Definitely did not expect to be that hype about it coming in.
Yeah, no, it's I'm actually like a little different where like I felt like I was just excited overall for it. I think it's because there was that synopsis that came out for early on where it was like, this is gonna be a story of Sonic about redemption and self-discovery, and I was like, okay, that's like a really
sounds like some kind of spiritual journey.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this seems like a lot for a Sonic show, which tells you like there's a little confidence in this, and it told me early on that there was gonna be some sort of cohesive plot to it. So I was excited already initially from that. And then there was that concept art that had leaked, which all came true. I mean, every piece of that concept art is from the 1 to 8 episodes. So that excited me right away, seeing the different Eggmen, seeing the different shoes and interpretations of the character. So I actually went in pretty excited for it, and then I came out of it like, even more hype about it because it ended up being like the way I really saw it is this is really the most invested I've been in a Sonic show since X. Back when I was a kid, you know, and that to me was a good feeling. It felt good to have a show where you're looking forward to the next episode. You like the characterizations and stories and stuff, and we're gonna get into that. But overall, I was very, very happy with how it turned out. So let's start. I mean, obviously, a big part of this is Sonic. You know, I feel like Sonic's portrayal is something that's so massively discussed all the time that I feel like that warrants its own like segment to discuss. So how did we feel about Sonic's character himself? Like, Chow, like, how did you think? Because like we just, like you said, we just got off Sonic Frontiers and in general another era of Sonic. How did you feel about how Sonic himself was in this?
It's definitely back to being a little bit sillier, like in the 2010s games.
For sure.
But not necessarily in a terrible way. I think because it's a cartoon, I think it needs to have those kind of silly moments. And like the nature of the story isn't like as dire as Sonic Frontiers, I don't think.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't need to be as serious. But I think Sonic was done pretty decently. I think he is a little bit like
goofy.
I don't know, like he's a little goofy and like
like he's got
empty-minded.
He's got the like head empty a bit sometimes where he's just like,
why
are you ignoring me?
He reminds me of Goku in Dragon Ball Super.
Yes. Okay, that's
he's
a good example.
He's a little bit dumbed down, but he always manages to like find his way.
Yeah.
In the end.
Like
when
the situation is presented, he is himself, you know? Yeah. That's fair. Okay. So overall you'd say like, so kind of like Goku Super dumbed down, but you enjoyed it. Okay. What about you, Sam? How'd you feel?
Yeah, definitely initially I was like, okay, so this definitely isn't like the same like Sonic as like what we have in the games. It's a different spin on it. I didn't find it as intrusive as many people may have thought with his character being more dumb in ways. I feel like it was definitely a bit more of an exaggeration of that carelessness side of Sonic that we do see in the games. But I think it's okay to have a different type of character for your show, kind of differentiates it. It wasn't too jarring. The only time when it was like a little like, well, duh, is when he's ignored his friends and Tails, I think like 3 times in the show total. Right. But it wasn't at all like definitely like it wasn't like jarring. It was just an exaggeration of an aspect of his character from the games. So I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I liked it, and I think like obviously, I mean, we're gonna talk about it, but like I think Devin Mag did a really good job. Really good job. Like it was that thing of, at first I had trouble matching like the voice with the body. Like it felt like that voice wasn't coming out of Sonic. But the more I watched, the more I got into it. And you can, like, to me, the best performances are when you can tell the person voicing it was having a good time. And I could tell Devin Mack was like having the time of his life, you know?
Yeah,
like he was, no matter how silly or goofy Sonic is, I think because he owned it and it made sense within the context of that world, everything sounded good. Like I love the little cutaways, you know, when he's describing the other characters, like when he's describing Shadow, that's really funny. Or when he's like, you know, saying what just happened to him, and it cuts out to like different moments where he's just like getting his ass beat. I got to give big props to Devin Mack for his performance, because we're sort of just getting used to this now, where Sonic just gets different voices. I mean, we just had Ben Schwartz, and you know, we have Roger, we have him, so it's cool to have these different voices. And I feel like Sonic in general is one of those characters where even within like fan projects, I feel like we just hear this character voiced in so many ways. So it's hard to nail it, but I think he did like a really good job with it. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, for Sonic, I agree. Like, he definitely felt like a little more sillier, but it always made sense within that world. Like, I don't know, there was something about how that I think that's what it is. I think it's because the way that world is set up is like, okay, like, you guys feel a bit younger here, and you're toned to the situation you're at, you know. But yeah, it was cool to see that anytime there was a serious situation, he was like the confident, cocky Sonic, and too cocky, you know, obviously that's part of the plot. but seeing that confident, cocky Sonic that'll do anything for his friends, like you got those glimpses and everything. So
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job. And also, like you said, like you want to have a different type of Sonic, because it's funny, now we have like 4 Sonics basically that are currently like, he's sort of like movie Sonic, right?
Yeah.
I think he's more similar to movie Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Like I was saying, this show is more like a mix of movie Sonic and Sad AM. Like if they like merged, I feel like that's what it would be like.
Okay, that's a good one for sure. Yeah, I like that. That's a good way to put it, actually. But yeah, no, I think Sonic himself, really good portrayal. And obviously, I mean, this time around we have our cast, and it's nice to have a Sonic show that is really focused on just the Sonic crew, basically, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like this is gonna be a big one, because like it's not just we have the main cast, we have different interpretations of them. So how'd you guys feel about the gang? You know, their different forms, the idea of it, how they were done. I mean, I feel like we gotta go into each different character, but like, what do you think? Let's see, Sam, what do you think about the cast?
Yeah, I thought the cast was great. In fact, I feel like a lot of the times, a big highlight for me is when I saw Sonic with his friends,
right?
And they were just talking.
Yeah,
I really like them in terms of their character. I think it's great. It's hard to say for their alternate versions, because like those are whole new. Those are new personalities.
You're right.
New characters. But yeah, no, the characters that we do know in the end are the characters that we've come to know and love. I also love the inclusion of like characters that we haven't seen in a while, like Big the Cat and Froggy. I think is really funny.
Yeah, having them around.
I just like seeing Froggy there.
Yeah.
And I hope this is a gateway to also see what other characters they'll include later on in the show, because I'm sure there have to be more. I don't know. I feel like there would be, like, there has to be like probably more surprises in store,
right?
Because like we have Shadow, and we didn't get to see much of him yet,
right?
But I'm really hoping like somewhere down the line we get like more characters that we just didn't even think about, like Cream or something, or Blaze.
That'd be fun. There's something in me that tells me this is it, you know, for better or worse. But I do hope there's like 1 or 2 that they have been saving, you know, for part 2 of this.
Yeah.
So who would you say that was your favorite? Like, what was your favorite version of what character? Like, it's like, was there like a standout?
Right.
Was it 9? Was it Dread?
Oh man, you know? Definitely not Amy. She pissed me off.
Oh really? Which Amy pisses you off?
Not necessarily pissed me off. We'll go into it.
Okay.
And I talked about this in my review of the show, but essentially episode 5
Jungle
through
Amy.
6, the jungle area.
Right, the jungle area.
I wasn't really jiving with it. But we'll go into that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, I would probably say. Probably 9. I would probably say 9. Cause the Knuckles is just silly. Like he's funny. Rouge is not that different.
Yeah,
I feel like Rouge is.
I was gonna say Rouge hasn't had her like variant episode yet. You know?
That's true.
Because 9 is like the standout of Yoke City. The what's her name? What's Jungle Amy's name? I have no idea. I don't know what they named her.
Thorny.
Was it Thorny?
Rose,
Thorny
it's
Rose.
like Thorn, something like that.
Yeah, like whatever.
Thorn, just Thorn.
Yeah,
just Thorn.
Thorn is the highlight of Jungle, and then you have Dread of Knuckles and the Pirates. So I think next batch is when we're gonna get the world that highlights Rouge.
Yeah.
Because in each world, Rouge is sort of the same, right? Where she's kind of like, she's got the sass, but she's a bit of a leader role.
Yeah.
And I think, but it was cool to have Rouge part of the main cast again. Like I found it more natural than it was weird. You know, what do you think, Chow? Do you think it was weird, or do you think they did Rouge well? What do you think?
I was a bit concerned about why Rouge was there. But then you learn it's because she's looking for the gem, because she's a treasure hunter. So that's why she's with them. It's not like she's part of the friend group. She's like with them because, like, for her own personal reasons. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And because she was there with everyone as like the Shatterverse kind of happened.
Yeah.
Like that explains why she's also there in the other universes, and I feel like that was a good explanation. Yeah. And I'm glad she's there because like she's a good character. They did her pretty well, and pretty much all of her different counterparts in the different universes, they're a little bit like we were saying, she hasn't had her own universe to be the main character in.
Yeah.
I do feel like a lot of her characters are pretty similar.
Yeah, they
universes.
did blend
It doesn't
in
feel like
world.
a weird out of character Rouge. It just feels like if you put Rouge in a different world, like the same Rouge.
Yeah,
where like
exactly.
other characters are completely different personalities.
Tails is so
she kind
funny.
of has the same one.
In the jungle world, Tails is just he's just this like little psycho thing. It's so funny.
Like a
He's
feral
not
animal.
domesticated yet.
It's so hilarious. Yeah, that was so weird to see. I'm like,
It's
this
really
is
funny.
I don't. It's like this is freaking me out. I really also appreciate that in the pirate world, his name is Sails. Very nice. Very
Sales.
That is
yeah,
funny.
they all of the alternate universe names were very creative, I think.
They were.
There's
They
Ben
were.
Rouge,
Yes, there's
the pirate
vendors,
world.
Rusty Rose.
Rusty Rose.
What's another one they got in there? But now, I agree with you. There was some funny name variants in there. Who stood out the most to you, though, as one of the side characters, whether it's a variant or the main ones or whatever?
I really like Nine. I feel like
Right, yeah.
I feel like Nine was the most fleshed out because you got his entire backstory and everything, and especially with New York City being like a recurring universe that
Yeah.
Sonic keeps going back to, which is good because I think it's the best one,
Yeah,
and it has
absolutely.
the best variants of everyone too.
I agree.
I think all the characters in the New York City dimension are all really good, but especially Nine.
Yeah, 9 is so
He's just so fleshed
interesting.
out, and I don't know. I feel like there's part of me that is so upset about how Tails has been treated that seeing him be this like angsty, like independent person who can like do things on his own, it's like I needed that.
Yeah, that's actually yeah. You're right. What were you
Yeah, I was gonna
Sam?
say that's the interesting part about 9 is it's a universe in which Tails was bullied, but Sonic was not there to save him.
Yeah,
So he's a lot more. He's a lot more like
Hardened.
unforgiving. Yeah, he's
Right.
hardened. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. It's like, cause like there's some parts where he's like super, like what's that one line he's on the chain where he's just like, it's because of the dread of everyone around me, or something. There's some crazy line he says when he's on the chain, like, "Hi, chill."
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Yeah, 9 is definitely the most fleshed out. I think. Yeah, like you said, I think it's cool to have a version of Tails that isn't, the typical like it's the complete opposite of Coward Tails. It's like. I want to do everything on my own. Yeah, and yeah, it was really cool to see that not only was it wasn't even like solved. It's not like he just became friends with Sonic. It's like he wants to go to his own world. He find. I think we're gonna go revisit that world at some point. Like the empty one he found. He wants to go start a new life there, and he ends up coming back to save the day, but he's still got more, plot and stuff to do there. So I think that's what's really interesting about 9 is he doesn't feel like, oh, he did a story and that's it. Like he has definitely more to say. I think he's gonna be recurring through the whole time. I feel like to me also, like besides, I think Dread was really dope. Like Dread Knuckles. I think
I love his design too.
Yeah,
especially.
it's so cool with like the jaggedy quills and stuff.
Yeah, the jaggedy dreadlocks
dreads,
and the
yeah.
pirate hat and everything.
No, that was so cool. I think he really started standing out to me because at first it was like, oh, okay, they're just like funny, silly pirates. But then when you get the backstory and you have this almost like Lord of the Rings moment, right, where he's sort of like freaking out when he's climbing the tower.
Yeah, he's
to
like
get
power hungry.
Yeah, he's like power hungry. Like that pharaoh look in his eyes. It was just really cool to have something like that for Knuckles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I thought Dread Knuckles stood out to me a lot. Am I crazy? Or was there a shot where he's in the air and he doesn't punch anything and a robot goes flying? Does no one remember this? So I think there's one glitch in the show where when he's fighting his way to the top of the tower, it looks like he kicks a robot, but he does not touch it.
He doesn't? I don't
You
remember that.
you don't understand. I'm actually good. I need to look at this now.
You need to. It's when. So look. I don't know if you have timestamps. that way.
Final episode when he's about to grab the thing on the top of the mountain.
So I need you to look at when he's climbing the mountain. Let me know when you find it. He's climbing the mountain and he's like, it's so weird.
Okay, episode 8. All right, I'm checking it out now.
You find it. I'll talk to Chow while you find it. But yeah, no, Dread Knuckles stood out. How did you feel about Rusty Rose? Because Rusty Rose is also like a recurring one.
I really liked her. And it was interesting how they were able to like change her allegiance for a little bit, and she was like helping them, but then she got turned back. I feel like she'll probably switch sides a few more times in
Yeah,
the future,
yeah.
maybe. But she was really cool. I liked
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And they said specifically that she wasn't 100% robot. She was like modified.
Modified, yeah, because she
Which
looks
is-
like it. She still has a bit of her natural parts.
Right, which is really interesting. And I do feel like there's a lot of like Sonic Sad AM inspiration in this show, where like it's kind of like roboticization.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
It's cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like Sad AM fans are pretty happy with this.
I mean, speaking of robotization, Robotnik Eggman, how'd you feel? We have what is it 5 of them or 6 of them? There's the regular one, there's the teenage one, the baby one, grandpa one.
Man, I think that's it, right?
I think that's it. There's like one more.
Yeah, you got Dr. Don't, Dr. Deep, Dr. Dunnit, Dr. Babble, and Mr. Dr. Eggman.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah, no, I mean, like for me, like they were cool. Like they didn't like stand out too much, you know, like but I thought they were fun. Like I thought they did a good job at being Eggman. And we still actually, do we end up seeing where our Eggman is or not at all? I just realized this.
No, I guess
Not
that, I
yet.
mean, I guess it's like his friends. Like I guess that's him. Like I think Mr. Dr. Eggman,
Right.
the one with the glasses and the hair swoop, like my logo. I literally think that is Eggman because his name is just Mr. Dr. Eggman.
Right. I was a bit confused a little bit because they don't explain it, and I'm sure they will eventually. But like, how are there just like 5 different Eggmans? Did he go and
Right.
retrieve them from different dimensions and bring them all to one, or
Or is this a world where there's just a bunch of them?
right? Like, are they maybe not the same person?
Mm-hmm.
Are they like relatives or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't explained, or maybe I missed it.
Right.
But I think hopefully they'll explain it later.
Hopefully. Well,
yeah.
I was thinking about this. Like, what about like Sonic? Is there an explanation for why there's no other Sonic variants?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
was
I
thinking
was
that
thinking
too.
of too. Yeah.
I hope my wish for like season 2 or whatever the next batch of episodes is Sonic meets a bunch of different iterations of himself, and that's the only other instance where like
Yeah.
I would accept classic Sonic to come back or
Yes, I
something.
agree, I
Where it's like
agree.
classic Sonic, it's like American Sonic with the mohawk, Game Sonic or something.
Game
with the
Sonic,
soap
that'd be
shoes.
funny.
Oh my
It'd be
God.
so cool.
Well, like,
I
I'm
feel like
hoping
that's
that they save that for the
gonna be
end.
like I feel like that's gonna be like end game type
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. By the way, real
Did
quick.
you find it?
So I checked out the episode. When he actually punches the robot, he makes contact. But
Okay.
right before the scene when he's going up the cliff,
Okay.
he kicks a robot,
Right.
and his foot is nowhere near
That's
him.
what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's that he kicks this robot, but it does not like touch
Yeah,
it at all. It's hilariously.
I've rewatched it 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
there's
not
no
crazy.
contact. There's no contact.
Yeah.
That's
it was
really
so
funny.
weird.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So, yeah, no. Like I said, yeah, I agree. Like I thought the other Dr. Eggmen were really cool. The baby one was funny. The cool segments they did with the baby
Yeah.
one ended up being really cute. But yeah, no. I think, like I said, I think the way they handled the cast and the side variants were really cool. And I wonder, like, how they can keep that up, because like we said, like next up it seems prime for Rouge to be a main character for a world. But then what happens, you know, is I assume there's at least gonna be one gag episode where Big is gonna be like
Oh
the
yeah,
main
that's true. They
focus
haven't
of a
done
world.
him either.
This
I
is-
wonder if they're gonna do one with Shadow too, because now he's
Yeah.
kind of like part of
Yeah, we
it.
gotta talk about Shadow for
Well,
sure.
that's the
Take
part I was
over
going to
real
talk
quick. Let
about.
me
That-
get water.
You're okay. That's what I find interesting is the fact that Shadow is not like in any of the worlds yet.
Right, and I think that was
Uh,
because he was trapped in that limbo, that
Yeah,
Shadowverse
yeah.
space. But now I think he's like in it, so
But now-
he might start
yeah.
having like variations too,
Well, I don't even know if he's gonna have variations. I feel like
or he'll be like Sonic, where he doesn't.
he's gonna be
yeah.
like Sonic. And he has to go with Sonic, and there's gonna be like a buddy cop like variant where they have to like work together to like figure out what's going on. And seeing Sonic and Shadow having to work together with this Sonic, who's kind of a bumbling idiot at times, I feel like there's a lot of room for comedy there. Where Shadow's
Yeah.
like, "God, you're such an idiot!"
Right.
Like,
I like their dynamic in it.
yeah. I think it's funny too because in during this entire 8 episodes, Shadow's constantly telling Sonic, "Keep running, don't stop." You're like, "Oh man, he's trying to help Sonic." It was all just to punch him.
Yeah,
He just wanted to punch Sonic for what he did. But
Shadow.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I was talking about how like
Mm,
like Shadow. There's no variation of Shadow, and Shadow's
no.
now with Sonic, like normal Sonic.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if going forward, Shadow's going to be with Sonic, having to figure out what's going on, like a buddy
Right.
cop scenario.
Oh,
I feel like that'd be funny.
that'd be sick. Yeah, 100%.
They
Yeah,
have
no,
to work together.
yeah, because like I really like this version of Shadow. It definitely feels it feels more Vegeta like, right?
Yeah.
Where like
I agree.
he's like very much like I don't know, it doesn't seem like he hates him, but he definitely wants to fight him, you know? But yeah,
They're
no,
not enemies, but they're like friendly rivals.
yeah, they're like friendly
like
rivals.
Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, exactly. And no, I really liked how they like, I love the voice too. He sounds really good. Obviously, like the air shoes line is really funny. That's really good. But yeah, even just that punch he socks to Sonic at the end, like you could just tell he's like not having it with him. But he also clearly wants to help him, right? Because we had those little segments where he would show up when Sonic's going through and be like, "You have to do this." But yeah, no, like you said, a buddy cop sort of scenario would be really dope. Would love that. But yeah, no, I think it's just really refreshing and cool. And I said this in general about this series. It's cool that we're just getting the cast back to normal, you know? Like it's cool being back at a point where when we can look forward again to seeing the side characters, you know?
No pun intended, but I feel like they're priming us for like some kind of Adventure 3 in the future.
They have
lately with like all of these different medias.
Yeah.
Just having such a focus on like multiple characters.
Yep.
Like the entirety of Frontiers kind of felt like, for all the side characters, it felt like a setup to get them back into it. And then Izuka-san talking about like wanting to make Adventure 3, and then Sonic Prime having such a large focus on the characters, and even like IDW doing the characters pretty well. Like I think Sonic movie 2 and hopefully 3, they're gonna introduce even more characters. Like they introduced Knuckles in 2 and Tails. Movie 3 will probably have Shadow Rouge and maybe like Big the Cat. I don't know. We'll see. But like they're
definitely doing something.
For so long, they were like so afraid to use their supporting cast, but now it feels like with all of these different medias, they're like, all right, it's time. Like,
because they're building up their popularity again, you know?
And I think like maybe Marvel had something to do with that, because I always think back to like Marvel Avengers Endgame,
right?
And they have like 60 plus superheroes.
Yeah.
And like people love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, not just that, but like just even like with Marvel and stuff where like they really popularized the idea of these side characters that no one would think getting a highlight, you know, getting a movie, you know, or getting
and multiverses.
Yeah. Like
so the entire Shadowverse is a very like Marvel type thing to do.
Yeah.
But
like,
I think they're kind of playing on.
It would be amazing if we lived in a world where like we actually got a Shadow game, you know. Obviously we have the original, but like an actual one, like where Shadow's popular again to the point where he could have his own spin-off game and it could be really sick, you know. I agree with you. Like the recharacterization of everybody is working out super well, so I'm very happy about where they've taken that. And how did you guys feel about the animation? I mean, I think to me stood out the most. So
it was really
good, man. I don't know what it is. There's something about it where I don't even know how to describe it. There's sort of like rubbery, you know?
Right. They're very squishy and like they stretch.
Yeah.
And everything. Like, it's very fluid.
That is peak. I love it when Sonic does that. And whenever anyone animates Sonic where they actually use his eyebrows rather than his eyelids and just using these very exaggerated poses. That's exactly how Sonic was designed with that in mind. So I love when they translate that into 3D properly. It's something I really hope the games start doing. It looks so good. It looks so good when they do it. Yeah, we're slowly getting there. But yeah, no, Prime looks fantastic. Best part of the show. Best part of the show was the animation and how they handled fight scenes, the choreography between it all. It's great.
What was your favorite like set piece? You know?
Oh man, New York City. Was just the most appealing, definitely. The best fight scene is probably between Sonic and Shadow.
Okay.
But
that was awesome.
Yeah,
it was something straight out of Dragon Ball Z, I felt.
Yeah, New York City is so good. That's another reason why I just didn't like the jungle area, because it seems so boring. It was the same background, and it's like this is definitely the budget episode. But New York City just looked fantastic. There was a lot of detail in the background. If you pause
Right.
it, they put a lot of detail in the background. It's
Yeah.
great.
And it was cool how Sonic would realize that certain parts of New York City were like Green Hill but transformed. Like he would look for like
Yeah.
a certain specific
Yeah.
landmark and then envision how it looked in the past,
Mhm.
and then see like a building where
Yeah.
it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entirety of New York City was awesome.
Yeah.
I really liked. It was kind of a smaller scene, but that scene where Sonic was kind of trapped by all the Eggman people,
Oh,
and
right,
he was
yes,
like being
yes.
tested through all the like the
Yes.
little
That
level
was so
designs
good,
and
yeah.
everything.
You got like chemical plant of it in there.
Yeah.
You got the spikes.
That was
That was
cool.
really cool. Yeah.
He was going through like 2D sections.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was really clever. That scene was sick. Yeah. No. I agree. That one's sick. The pirate fight, I thought at the end was really cool. Really well done. Like when they're just working together to fight them off. But yeah, one of my favorite. I think my favorite set piece is the robot fight in New York when he's like showing them how to do the spin dash, right? And he's like tossing them. And they're like on the staircase, and like my favorite move by far that I need to see them put in the games is he like grabs one of the robots and grind rails them down, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's grind railing with the robot on there. I'm like, that's so sick. You know, you're taking one of the coolest parts of Sonic and making it an attack he uses, you know? I think that's that's just what stood out to me is like about especially like Sonic's character and stuff. It's just like you could tell when he was in a fight, he was excellent. You know, he knew what he
The
was doing.
choreography, the fight choreography
So
was
good.
surprisingly pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really like the move where I forget what it was, but he was on top of like a pile of something, and he like did a figure eight, and he was like shooting them.
Right, and he
from
was
under his
shooting them
feet.
out.
Yeah,
With the figure eight.
so
Yeah, that
cool.
was really clever.
There were a lot of like creative moves that a lot of
Yeah.
the characters did.
And I love too in all of that how there's stuff like we're like, oh man, that'd be a great idea for like the game, but also they
Yeah.
have a lot of game elements in this show as well.
Right.
And it's like it's so interesting when you see stuff like the rings. Like they
Sonic
just go
is
into
getting
him.
rings before
Like,
Yeah, he
encountering
just
Eggman.
gets rings, yeah.
Just like the ring, just like
Yeah.
the games, and like he loses them in a fight. It's so interesting seeing that, but it's so natural. You don't even think about it. It's
Yeah.
great. It's
Yeah,
good
yeah.
to see that in the show.
We will never escape the Green Hill allegations. not
Oh yeah,
once in our life.
they made it their entire hometown, like
Yeah.
all the characters.
It's all there. It's their entire flow forever. So I think we just gotta live with it, guys. It's just the
Yeah.
Green Hill. We need to just accept Green Hill as the Mushroom Kingdom. So
Yeah.
Right.
it's just always gonna be there.
Hey, honestly, I'm okay. Like I know this is a big discussion community. I'm honestly okay with that. Like it's
I
it's
don't
okay to
mind.
have. I definitely would like there to be a spin to it. Definitely just having a spin to it. But this is in relation to the games.
Yeah, of
But
course.
even in the show too, they have a spin to it where
Yeah,
it
exactly.
transforms based on the universe, and it's cool. It's cool to see that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm a little bit upset at that retcon, and I guess we can also talk about this.
Oh,
but like,
right.
they were saying that like Sonic Prime is canon. Like, how canon do we think it actually is? Like, do we actually believe that? Like, I
Oh,
feel
man.
personally like I need Sega to confirm it.
Yeah.
that
No.
it's
Can I
canon
ask
and
who
not
said it was canon?
Wild Brain? Someone from Wild Brain, I think.
I
They
don't.
had
yeah,
Netflix interviews. Listen,
And what I think they mean by that is that it's based off of the canon, but it itself
Yeah.
isn't canon. Like they're
Yeah.
using elements from the actual canon
exactly.
to derive their story from. But maybe it is canon. I have no idea. But like
I-
one of the things that I didn't like was Tails is from South Island, Knuckles is
Oh.
from Angel Island, but like Green Hill is all their
is their only
home.
place there, right?
No, it,
Yeah,
it,
'cause-
doesn't, it doesn't make sense.
He doesn't. Does he mention the Master Emerald here or no? I don't think it's even a thing
No.
in this show. No.
I don't know.
Interesting though that the Chaos Emerald is in the show though. That Knuckles or that Shadow found in a rock. By
Oh
the way.
yeah. That is
was
true.
so weird.
Yeah, I mean, we know from like that one leaked concept art that Supersonic is in this show. He has like a cool design. Looks more like stylized. But yeah, no, like that. Yeah, I agree. I think what they mean by canon is it's what everything is doing, which is there's a multiverse. Like I just think like this is one of the worlds, you know. Like I think to me that's what I saw it as, you know. Where
Maybe
like,
maybe Sonic Prime itself, like the main world, is a multiverse of.
is
like,
a multiverse. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
essentially,
They
Like,
didn't reveal that.
yeah.
At,
Yeah. When they say it's
that
like
way it
in
could
canon,
technically
yeah.
be canon. Yeah, it could be canon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when they say it's like in canon, it's like it's technically safe. It's like it's all Sonic's friends. They're in Green Hill.
yeah.
Sure, I guess this could happen.
And I genuinely believe like companies just say the word canon because people like to hear it, you know? because
Right.
people like to hear that it's official. So even if it's in a multiverse that we'll never see, it's canon. Because even in the movie, right, Dr. Eggman says like, first I'll take over the universe, then the multiverse, you know. So
Yeah.
that idea has been thrown out there. I mean, and even in the Sonic Gears multiverse is not like a crazy concept. So yeah, I think it's definitely canon in that sense. But yeah, no, so obviously animation done super well, characters and everything. Let's talk about the plot, right? Like the story, right? And how, you know, it affects the characters and the characterization.
Right.
So yeah, they flash back to it like a lot of times, so it's done a little weirdly. Because at first, I don't know, like it's weird because it's presented as, you know, they're doing their typical thing. Sonic shatters the crystal, right? But then as the episodes go on, it almost felt like it was way deeper than it was. Because at first I just thought, you know, it was like, oh, it was whatever, things fucked up. But then like it seems like they presented as Sonic was much more selfish and weird about it than it initially came off as, you know?
Yeah, the story is the part of the show where that's where it's like not all rainbows and sunshines for me. The story is like fine. The story, like based on itself, where it's like, yeah, it breaks the thing. They go into the different universes. That's fine. But yeah, I think it's definitely the way they tell it. The going back and forth. It's a non-linear story, and that's fine. But yeah, it is weird when they flash back to the same exact flashback 3 times, where it's like
That's where I have a problem with it.
the tree with Amy
The tree
going
one,
like.
yeah.
And
That was
every
the forest
time.
thing, the forest area. They kept doing that like 3 times in a row.
That's where the story kind of stagnates for a bit. But the interesting part that I really liked, and that was in the last episodes, was when the different dimension characters start intermingling with other dimension characters. When Rusty Rose went to the pirate world and saw that Amy and was like, "What?"
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Sam. Where like I like the story. I think to me what's good about like the good thing about the story is it kept me interested. Like it's like I finished an episode like I want to know what's next. Obviously the episode it makes you really want to know what's going on next. But yeah, no, I definitely hope that it doesn't. I feel like I don't know if it will or not. It's a cartoon, so it's hard to tell. Like, is it gonna be? Because I assume we have 2. I think we have 2 more batches. Because I think it's 26 episodes, or 24. So like, is it just gonna be like in the next 8 batches we get another 3 worlds? We follow a character in that we continue, or is there gonna be a change in sort of the style, or maybe those are the only worlds we get? Maybe we get another 1 or 2, but my hope is just that for now it was fresh because it was 8 episodes. It was cool, and even then, like the forest world felt like the filler world. Even though I liked it, I had a good time in it. Because they haven't revisited them at all, as far as we know.
No.
They haven't.
It was just New York City that they revisit.
Would they revisit?
So I think for me, the story, it reminds me of Kingdom Hearts a little bit, for better and for worse.
Okay.
Where you kind of have like this central hub world, which is New York City, and that's like Hollow Bastion or like Traverse Town from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
And then you're going to like all these different worlds, like the Disney worlds, and like the stories there don't really matter that much, and you're just kind of waiting for like that to wrap up so you can go back to the hub world and get more actual lore.
Right. Okay.
Very like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. You're right. No, you're right. That is very Kingdom Heartsy when you think about it. Where you go and you go to a variant. Yeah. No, I see where you're coming from. Okay, that makes sense.
It's not that like the little side stories or like other dimensions aren't interesting, but like sometimes it's like, man, I'm just waiting for them to go back to like the main plot again and get done with this like side plot, because like at the end of the day Sonic leaves that dimension and it like kind of doesn't matter.
Well, I think it's cool when they start to fuse, right? Like I liked at the end you got like New York people going to the pirate world, right? Because then it's like, oh, it's rewarding.
We need more of that. Hopefully the next
the
batch of episodes will start like mixing the dimensions more.
That is interesting to think about, though, is the fact that that jungle world, like that story's wrapped up though. Like he solved the problem there and left. So that's the only place where that's happened.
That is true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, that's I agree. It's definitely weird. It's gonna be interesting just to see where they take it. Like I said, I would love if him and Shadow like have to travel together a little bit, because man, getting more Shadow fights would be sick. Stuff like that would be really cool. But yeah, no, I also like, I think we also have to partially wrap our heads around the fact that it is also a kids show. And And I could, like, if we're talking about a bit of, like, you know, the writing and stuff, is like a lot of times it was good, but there were, like, you know, a lot of the jokes and the stuff where I'm just like I did like a little chuckle, but I was like, you know, I could tell who the audience for this is,
Right.
you know.
The age demographic is definitely a lot younger than
Yeah.
something like Sonic Frontiers,
For sure.
which I
absolutely.
kind of figured going into it. But
Yeah.
like, you know,
It's
it's
the parts
to
that
be expected, I think.
the parts that hurt me was when Sonic would do the random references in his sentence would be like, "That's a sonic boom of a headache," or he
Right.
would say, "I thought I was losing my rings for a second," or "What in the name of Green Hill is going on?" It's like,
I did. It was like, oh, there's the thing. He did the thing. Oh man. There's like a lot of little Easter eggs references. Like when he's like hanging out with Nine, he does like the little waiting pose. He does like the little stretch he does in the beginning of the 3, 2, 1 go in the boost games. Like there's like little subtle movements.
oh yeah,
there.
yeah. Actually, one I caught too that I
He does the
reminded.
breakdance.
Yeah,
He
the
does the
breakdance was straight
breakdance.
out of Generations.
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
the Generations break. That's 100%.
I noticed that right away.
Yeah,
It was really
yeah.
cool.
It's so cool. What was another cool one? There was it was, oh yeah, so people pointed this out on Twitter where there's like the statues from Frontiers like randomly in the background.
Oh really?
Did you guys see this?
I didn't,
What?
no, I didn't
No.
see that.
Yeah, so there's you know those like statues that you turn around in Frontiers?
Yeah.
The
There's
puzzle
like
statues.
3 of them in Sonic Prime.
What? Interesting.
Yeah.
What universe?
I'll try to find the picture, but yeah,
Is it in New York City? Or is it
no,
Green
they're in
Hill?
each world. There's like one randomly in the background. It's crazy, and it's like the exact same statue. Like, oh, here it
That's
is. Yeah,
so interesting. I wonder
Yeah.
if they're gonna try to tie it in somehow
Mhm.
later on. That'd be
Because,
weird
like-
if like they did that and nothing came of it.
yeah.
Like it has
look
to
at
be
the group
foreshadowing
chat.
something.
It's like it's the exact same statue.
Oh my god,
no
yeah,
questions
that's
asked.
Yeah,
that
that
is-
is.
that
What?
is.
That's
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah, it's just there. It's straight up just the Frontier statue. You know, it's wild. It's wild to think
Wow.
about. Yeah, I think that's what they mean by canon. Like I said, is I just think that it's either, like I said, another multiverse where this takes place, or just like a little nod, you know, that hey, like there's remnants of this around. But
Yeah.
we're gonna see, man. I do hope, like you said, that there is one cool episode where they show a bunch of old Sonics, but we'll see about that. But either way, really good stuff. But yeah, for the plot, you know, I hope what's it called? I hope it goes to cool places, because I think, you know, that's a cool topic. It's like, what do you think? Where do you think this is going? You know, like what do you expect out of what's to come, like in the next batch and towards the end of it? Where do you think it's going? Let's start. Let's do Sam. Go ahead. What do you got? What do you think it's
Where,
headed?
where I think it's going? Yeah, I definitely think we're gonna do our story with like Rouge and the other characters that didn't have their own story yet. I'm wondering if all the interdimensional Eggmans need to like split up,
Right.
like each world, and like because I think what was it? Each world had its own gem, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And Sonic never got the gems out of there. He would just he would touch them on accident.
Yeah.
and then
Transport.
So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they're gonna split up and try to get the gems, and they have to use each of the variants of each character to stop that universe's Eggman. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely gearing toward a huge battle. I don't know. But in terms of like the whole like the flashbacks and that story, I'm wondering how they freshen it up, how they not make it
Yeah.
seem so repetitive, because it's definitely
Yeah.
already repetitive. I don't want it to happen again. I also think the whole idea of going to a new world, they don't know who Sonic is. Sonic is like,
Right.
no, wait, you're my friends,
Yeah.
and then like he has to go through that whole thing. I do feel like that also, because the Pirate World changed that, and they did
Right.
it at the right time, because it did start to feel repetitive. So I don't want them to do it for a third time. So yeah, I'm wondering how every
They're gonna
world it's
handle
gonna have
that.
to be an interesting take, a new take
Right.
at it. But yeah, I really don't know where exactly it's going, but it's definitely gearing up towards some huge battle that I think involves all the gems in each world.
Yeah. Let's go. Okay. What about you, Chad? Make sure you think this is story and world's going.
There's a few things I think have to happen, and I'm not sure how or like in what order. But like it seems like New York City is kind of the hub world of
Yeah.
the Shadowverse that
Yeah,
Sonic
yeah.
keeps going back to. And it's the one that has all the Eggmans.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be the last world that Sonic saves. and I think he's going to somehow like recruit all of these other dimensional alternate universe versions of
right.
all the characters that he helps, because
Yeah.
like the jungle level, he resolves that plot
Yeah,
that
you're
plot
right.
issue, and then he leaves. But I
Yeah.
feel like those characters are
definitely
going to
gonna
come
see
back to
him,
help
for sure.
towards
Yeah.
the end,
Yeah.
which is why he's going to all these worlds. He's like basically going to be recruiting all these people to help
Right.
in this like giant New York City war between the Eggmans and all the other
Right.
characters.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we only have Sonic and Shadow from the original dimension, and we have yet to see like any of the other original
Yeah.
characters. We've only seen their
Exactly, yeah.
alternate dimension selves. So I feel like also Sonic is gonna have to somehow find
the rest.
his version of his friends.
Right.
And I don't know how that's gonna happen. Unless
Oh, yes, I don't-
unless he like solves everything and they just magically appear. But like I feel like he probably has to find them, because that was the case with Shadow.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
He could be an exception though, because he used
yeah,
the
because
chaos
he's the
control
chaos
at the
control.
last
That's
second.
why I don't think. Yeah, that's the only part where it's like I really hope that happens, because whenever I see the flashbacks and I
Right.
see the characters that we kind of know and love in this form, I love it, and I really want
Yeah.
to see more of that.
Exactly.
So I'm rooting for it, but I don't think he's gonna find his regular friends in these different universes.
They're just gonna be
because-
saved.
Because yeah, Shadow was the exception. He's the castable to protect
Right.
himself when it happens. But yeah, I think they are the characters as they were.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like I think yeah, you're kind of right, Tom. Right? It's like I feel like yeah, like obviously Shadow, yeah, he used chaos control, but I feel like yeah, at some point we gotta see the originals, or like what happened to them. Because like I said, it's like you said, Shadow says like there is no hope. You messed everything up.
Right.
But and
You know,
I think,
actually,
yeah.
Shadow was the exception because he used chaos control. But why is Sonic
Okay.
also there?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is Sonic an exception? Is it because he was like right up front or something?
Is it because he can draw the power of it? I don't know.
Right, because I feel like
Yeah.
the other characters should be in the same boat as Sonic.
Yeah.
I don't think Sonic did anything different. Like
The only
they
thing
were
is, like,
all
yeah,
in the
he-
area when the explosion happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I mean, I think that's just where it just character
Main character is
invulnerability.
Yeah. I think part of it is just also like main character invulnerability. I think like it's like it is. I think with that
Plot
stuff, you
armor.
just kind of there's a bit of the plot armor.
Oh, you know what?
Just
They're
the
probably
very-
gonna say it's his speed. His
Yeah,
speed.
it's
He
his
was
speed,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. They could just make it a gag to just be like, oh yeah, we had a blue guy here, he died.
He died.
He died. Oh man,
wasn't
but-
fast.
He died from a nut allergy.
Yeah, but oh man, but no, it's I think to me at least the good thing is just there's something to look forward to, like, and I think that's the biggest thing I can ask for, because like with Boom, that was like a slice of life anime. Every episode was a self-contained funny little plot they did. There was some action, but it was always like a mini thing to solve it. But here it's like the action scenes feel like they matter when you get to them. There is a narrative thread, and even if it's not the craziest thing, it's cool to at least have that, something to want you to make you look forward to the next episode, And like I said, I genuinely don't think that's been the case ever since like Sonic X, right? Because I think it was Sonic Boom was after Sonic X, right? There was nothing in between. I don't think so, at least.
Yeah, there was nothing in between.
Nothing in
don't
between.
think so, yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool to just have. It's just cool to have something to look forward to and all that. And yeah, like I really do hope what you said, Sam, is true. I really hope there's like another character or two, because I feel like I feel like we're not gonna tap in for a long time to like the smaller ones. Well, not small. What I mean, like the Silvers and the Blazes. I feel like we're more likely to get a Cream than we are to get
or Metal Sonic.
or
Like, something
Metal
like
Sonic. That could be cool.
That'd be sick.
really dope. I'd be super down for that. I hope they do pull more, because like you said, this game does a lot of game. This show does a lot of game references, but it doesn't really lean into the games as much, which
It's
is
its
probably a
own
good
thing.
thing. Yeah, it's
Right.
its own thing.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Did anyone think that what's it called Thorn looked exactly like what's her name? The Sonic Underground version of Sonic. Sonia, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just her. It's the same like
Yeah,
yeah.
I see that.
Yeah, I just felt like that was like a nod to that or something. But
Yeah.
either way, I think we're just all happy where this is going. Like I said, it's definitely not perfect, but it's fun. Like it's a great time.
Yeah,
I think that's the most important thing.
agree.
Yeah.
You know,
Blew my expectations out of the
Yeah.
water. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it really does look beautiful. You can definitely tell this is a Netflix budgeted show. So
yes.
it looks
Yeah.
beautiful. It has
Yeah.
it has the work put into it. You could tell.
And like also like I saw people worrying like I don't think anyone has to worry about this show getting canceled. It's Sonic, like Sonic's bigger than ever. It's doing really well, like it's charting.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. Everything's gonna be okay. But yeah, I think in general, like that's sort of how I just feel about all these Sonic projects, right? Is like really great, right? We're in such a good step on a perfect path. You know what I mean? Like we're almost there with everything. It's kind of how like in the Sonic movie, like everything's awesome, but then there's like the wedding thing, you know, or like it's Sonic Frontiers, like it's awesome, but there's all the little like nitpicks, you know. And with this, you know, like it's fun, but there's some of the, you know, stuff like the filler stuff or whatever that comes through. But overall, we're just in a great spot, and even with IDW and everything, like I think we can all agree, like we're all happy with where the franchise is at right
we're
now.
we're in a good place right now.
Yeah,
We're in
I'm
a
God,
very
good
happy.
place. Yeah.
Because even next year, like next year is almost DLC of this year, right? Like it's like part 2 of Prime,
right.
Yeah.
DLC for Frontiers,
Yeah.
Knuckles
Is
TV
the next
show.
batch of Prime episodes coming out next year?
Yes, yeah. Typically
Is it-
Netflix
is that, like-
takes. Typically Netflix, it's 3 to 4 months for
Okay,
batch 2
it's actually not too bad then.
for like kids.
I was
shows and
expecting
stuff.
to wait like an entire year or something.
No. Because if I'm going by like, for example, like Cuphead show, like I think Cuphead show had like the start of it in February, and then next part was like May, June. So expect like
Right,
a
okay.
5-month gap from it, you know?
Okay, that's
So,
not bad at all then.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, but we'll
And
see
that
where
is
it
something to
goes.
look forward to then.
Yeah. Like I said, literally next year just DLC for this year.
Right.
But we're gonna see what happens, guys. So everybody in the comments, let us know what you thought of the show. What was your favorite character variant? What was your favorite aspect of the show and all that stuff? Plug yourself, guys. Chow Mix. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube and Twitter. Just search in Chowmix. I do Sonic videos and I also do art. I
Yes.
post that on Twitter
Yeah, you
as
do
well.
great. You do
So yeah,
great.
follow me there if you're interested in that stuff.
Perfect. Sam, do your thing.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube and Twitter as well. Sam Procrastinates. I do a lot of Sonic content. I talk about a lot of things. If this wasn't enough for you guys to want to know my full thoughts on Sonic Prime, just uploaded a video about it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So guys, thank y'all for watching. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you know where to find me. So guys, thank y'all for watching. Y'all the best. And yeah, I mean, that's sort of the last big Sonic video for the year. Damn, hate to see it. So guys, thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next time. People really like these discussions, so whenever something big pulls up, we'll just do this, you know.
The Sonic Council.
The Sonic Council,
Right.
that's what it's too.
Sonic
the
Council.
Sonic Council pulled up. All right, so the Sonic Council. Maybe we'll do like what to expect in 2023 and later for Sonic. Like we'll do that
Ooh,
in
yeah,
January.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'd be fun. All right.
Yeah.
So guys, thank y'all for watching. See y'all later. Peace out.